you're too young to have all this trouble, and I'd rather you stay, get all these tests done, and then after this kind of acute attack is over, we need to talk about preventing the next one, because I think you're at a risk for having another and another and another, and if we don't treat this, you could end up blind and unable to move your arms or legs, and we don't want that.
this is going to be a bit of a long process, but I think we at least have a good idea where, well, we know where the problem is, like I said, but I can't tell you for sure what it is.
Do you know what could have triggered it? Like,
if it's inflammation, then it could be anything or nothing. I mean, some of these things just come on like that for no reason. That's the most common. No. There's a spot there in the brain, in your vomiting center. It has to be that.
Okay.
I mean, it would.
Yeah, because I've been taking medication and everything.
We would keep you in the hospital for this kind of thing. But if you tell me, no, I'd rather go home and do this, that's fine too. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
But it's almost up to you for that, because there are people who are
back
every day for these treatments, and then, and whatever else we have planned, like the lumbar puncture and stuff like that. It'll be me here during the week in the emergency room. But if you're like, you know what, I think I'd rather just do it in the hospital, I think we could try and find you a bed in the hospital. There's certainly people who are here in the hospital who have less. And more. I mean, definitely more. But, it wouldn't be a hard sell to say I have a 20-something-year-old who has, a brainstem problem. You get a bed. I'd rather give you the steroids today for the first one.
Yes. Yeah.
I have to say, I don't know if have you ever taken steroids for anything?
No.
Anyway, the major side effect of the first dose is not falling asleep.
Oh no, she already has insomnia.
Well, unless if the insomnia is caused by the inflammation in your brain, and get rid of some of it, then you have.
It could be related to the insomnia.
All of this is very deep in the very primitive areas of the brain that control, sleep and vomiting and stuff like that. So it's possible, yeah.
Oh my God. And do you think my vision will go back?
I mean, I guess the hope is that all of this is something that we can treat and be reversible. Yeah. But I got to tell you, I know this sounds like a miserable thing to say, but I can't guarantee anything because I don't really know what's going on. Okay. So I can't be sure. So it's not anabolic steroids, it's sort of anti-inflammatory steroids. And so, I mean, there's lots of side effects to steroids. A lot. It'll give you weight gain and diabetes and cataracts and all kinds of horrible
things. So that's more like long term.
Yeah, 5 days, really the biggest complication is just being a little hyper.
Okay.
the parking lot of the gym, but I've been here for like 20 minutes. Just lounging around. I'm really not down to train today. It's 6:30 in the morning. I don't know, Raquel's off to Mexico. It's her second trip in like a month. And I'm currently at like my lowest point I've ever been. I have no money, nothing. I'm home all the time. I'm straight up going through a depression right now, like literally. I'm just so disappointed in myself. I'm trying to dig myself out of this hole.
When you met in August, I believe, and then again in November, what did he tell you was his thought process?
They said they weren't sure. They just said that what they found in the MRI looks like it could be inflammation, but he wasn't 100% sure, so they would follow up in a couple months after giving me the steroids and see how it evolves or progresses or if it diminishes.
Did he ever mention something called like a specific syndrome or something like that?
Nothing.
Okay.
He just said it was an autoimmune disorder.
That's right.
But he doesn't know which one.
Okay. So I think now that we have that hindsight, and it, I agree. Initially, it's a bit uncertain what it is, but now this is a different presentation today than last time. And in addition, we have an MRI that you did yesterday, and we're able to compare it. So there's clearly new inflammation that's autoimmune as well. And we think you need stronger treatment for it to prevent this from happening. And I don't think the pills are enough at this point, the prednisone. So what we're going to propose, and I think you should probably agree, would be to give you the same steroid, but intravenous, at like quadruple the dose, to help relieve the pain in your eyes and relieve the double vision. And then in addition, if you don't get better in the next 2-3 days, to give you even stronger treatment where we flush antibodies out of your blood with something called plasma exchange, which is basically a big filter. And in order to do this, it's best if you stay in the hospital, because otherwise I'm fearful that you're going to lose your vision, and I don't want that to happen. You're too young to have all this trouble, and I'd rather you stay, get all these tests done, and then after this kind of acute attack is over, we need to talk about preventing the next one, because I think you're at risk for having another and another and another, and if we don't treat this, you could end up blind and unable to move your arms or legs, and we don't want that. So when
Do you know what it is?
So there's a syndrome called Neuromyelitis Optica. It's a long term. It's basically inflammation in the optic nerves, which control vision, the brainstem, and the spinal cord. And it looked very much like that in August, but it wasn't like slam dunk certain that was what it was. But now that you had another attack in the same but a little bit different part of the brainstem.
Great. How easy, I know. Maybe a little bit rigid. Maybe right here. Maybe right away. Twist them closer. That's normal. So a little bit of a pushing, weird sensation.
It's okay, good.
Very good.
Oh, excellent, good job.
So you can make the leg without trying to
I want to see inside your lip. So you're going to
Yeah.
flip your lip.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, look good. You're going to do the same thing for the top. Oh, good. You're going to stick your tongue around. Is your hair?
Things that we need to consider on top for as part of treatment for whatever autoimmune disease that we may or may not find.
So it could change your
Yeah.
treatment. Okay, so that's why it's really, really important that we get to the bottom of this, because they may go off on a tangent, and we may have to say, oh, but look at that, there's other considerations here. So yes, there's potential for change.
So
of treatment.
the NMO
understanding. God, give me strength. Comfort me, God, as my heart is weary. God, Father, I'm struggling. You know the plans you have for my life. God, just help me make it through the dark hours. Help me persevere. Help me keep my head up, Jesus.